Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. This is Victor.
This is Rich.
And right now we are at the amazing and modern airport of Istanbul because we are about to go to one of the most exciting and historic countries in the whole entire world.
And should we say it together?
Yes.
That is
Uzbekistan.
And the gateway to that country is to Tashkent. It will take 4 hours to get to this delightful Central Asian country.
So guys, right now we have to get a taxi to our hotel, and obviously this is going to be a bit of a bargain because they will try to obviously ask for a higher price. But here actually you can get like a taxi for like €1, and if they ask for more than €1 then they are actually kind of like taking like advantage of you because you are like a foreigner.
It's of paramount importance to never settle for the first asking price. You should try and get them to give it to you for 50% less. Let the haggling begin.
Good morning everyone. Today is our first lovely morning, sunny morning after a horrible rainy day yesterday. So this is our first morning here in Tashkent. So we're going to try to do as much as possible, but for now we're going to have a lovely Uzbek breakfast. I really cannot believe that today we woke up in Central Asia and we are about to have this wonderful and amazing breakfast. Right now we are going to start our sightseeing here in this lovely city in the very heart of it, which is the Amir Timur Square. We've got his statue just behind me, and I would like to tell you the story about this very famous character in the Uzbek history. Amir Timur was a Turko-Mongol conqueror who founded the Timurid Empire in and around modern-day Afghanistan, Iran and Central Asia. But he was specifically born right here in Uzbekistan. He led military campaigns across Western, South and Central Asia, the Caucasus and Southern Russia. In other words, this man is the reason why Uzbekistan nowadays is one of the most historical countries in the world.
Do you know what? What I find really interesting is that Tashkent is a lot greener than we thought. When I was on the plane, I had these images that Uzbekistan was going to be full of deserts and dry, but you come here and it's extremely green and lots of plants and trees, and the most important thing you have to realize is that the people here are polite and kind. You're never going to feel shaded here. Right now I'm going to try this mojito fresh drink, which is basically like a fizzy drink. Yes, безалкогольный. Anyway, so I have to say that incredibly enough and funnily enough, can you believe that the weather is just like perfect? It's not hot, it's not cold, it's just in the middle. It's like, you know, spring. I'm really enjoying it, and yeah, it's very comfortable. But they say that this is a abnormal weather for the city, that it should be a lot hotter, and apparently next week they are going to be reaching above 40 degrees Celsius. So we are extremely lucky. And no Soviet country would be the same without their typical Soviet hotels. Hotel Uzbekistan, the most iconic Soviet-style hotel in the whole of the country, and you can come and appreciate it right here in this square. I have to say that there is something I really like about all these ex-Soviet places, and that is the cleanliness. These places are so neat and so well kept that you would stroll all over the city and you would not see litter at all. And I could not say the same about many North American cities, and many cities, obviously not all of them, but many cities in Europe will not be as clean as this lovely capital of Uzbekistan. So that is a very good plus for them. So right now we're standing in front of the Timuruk Museum, which is named after Amir Timur, who descended from the Mongolian and nomadic tribes. If you're more interested in finding out more about Uzbekistan's rich cultural history, then you have to come straight away here to this museum where we're about to go to. The State Museum of the Timurids is one of the must-visit attractions in Tashkent. It was opened in 1996 in honor of the 660th anniversary of the outstanding commander Amir Timur, also known worldwide as Tamerlane. You can find a large number of exhibits about the history of Uzbekistan during the reign of the Timurid dynasty.
I have to say that this place is really beautiful and it contains so many things dating back to that era. If you like history, you are going to adore coming to this museum. We are about to show you one of the most impressive and beautiful undergrounds in the world. It was the 7th metro to be built in the former USSR, opening in 1977. It is one of the only 2 subway systems operating in Central Asia, the other one being in Almaty in Kazakhstan. Being here makes us reminisce our time in Moscow, since this metro is very similar to the Muscovite underground. The Tashkent metro is said to be one of the most beautiful undergrounds in the world, and believe me, I can verify that.
Do you know that even the smell of this place is like of Moscow? Like the sounds, the trains, the noises, everything is like Moscow. But I will tell you one thing, when you go and get your tickets, you have to stand right by the ticket office. If not, people will push in front of you, and it seems to be something that's very normal here. So make sure you get your tickets right in front.
As you can see, almost every station is fascinating. They all have their own unique architectural features and artistic elements. Currently, each ticket has a cost of 1,200 soums, which is around 10 euro cents. So guys, for the end of our first day here in Tashkent, we decided to come to Japan Garden. According to many, this is one of the best places where you can have a nice time to relax when you are in the Uzbek capital. Let's go and check it out.
Coming to Tashkent is very cool, it's awesome and everything, but by coming to the Japanese gardens is even better because you actually feel as though you're in Tokyo. Having been to Japan, I can say that this is identical to many of the gardens that are in Tokyo.
Surprisingly enough, before coming to Tashkent, we thought that this was going to be a very dry city with scorching temperatures. But we found all the opposite. This is definitely one of the greenest cities Richly and I have ever seen in our lives. Good morning everyone, today is our second day here in Tashkent, and we decided to wake up a little bit later today and to go for a nice brunch in one of the most chic and beautiful cafes in the city. We decided to try a nice harsho soup, which is something that we would eat in Russia. It is originally from Georgia in the Caucasus. But if you want to enhance the flavor of this harsho, you have to ask for coriander, smetana, and a nice authentic Uzbek lepioshka, which is basically their bread here. Right now we have just gone to the Chosu Bazaar. As you know, bazaars are the heart of every Oriental city. Chosu Bazaar has been here for centuries. It used to be the heart of the old town before the Russian invasion. However, it's still a very important point of trading in Tashkent, where people come to find the freshest vegetables, fruits, and ingredients for their meals.
Listen, if you want the best tomatoes in the whole wide world, you have to come to Uzbekistan, because not only are they delicious and scrumptious and juicy, but for 2 kilograms, you pay next to nothing. It's really important that you don't pay what they ask for. It's really important to haggle, because if you don't haggle, you'll basically get like the highest price and you'll be paying far too much. So, be smart.
Now it's time to see it from inside. I guess it's going to be even more exciting. This is incredible. I never thought that we were going to see this bazaar, because I had seen so many blogs and videos, and I had read so much about this place, and we are finally here, so we are really living a nice adventure. If you're not interested in buying meat, you have to go to the second floor, which is where they have the dry fruits and other grains, and so Richly was just feeling like a little bit sick, therefore,
Sorry.
yeah. What do you want to buy now?
Now I'm going to try and get some chili.
Really? This is where you can find all the local spices, such as saffron, turmeric powder, paprika and chili. Right now we are in the Hazrat Imam complex. This is definitely one of the most beautiful spots you can see in Tashkent. It is situated in what was ancient Tashkent. Luckily, we can still see buildings that date back to the 16th century. Many other buildings didn't make it until this day because the city suffered a horrible earthquake back in the 60s and many of the historical buildings right here in the old town were destroyed.
So the complex that you can see here was named after the first preacher of Islam to Tashkent, Kafal Ashashi. Not only was he a gifted linguist, but also a preacher and a theologian. He also did many pilgrimages in Mecca and also in Damascus.
Even though Tashkent seems to be a very modern city, it still has its old town with ancient buildings. And this is when you realize that this city has more than 2,000 years of history.
If you would like to see a 360-degree view of the city of Tashkent, you should definitely go on the Ferris wheel, which is located in Locomotive Park. As you can see, the Tashkent of yesterday, of the past Soviet era, has gone, and now the skyline is ever changing. So watch this space for brand new skyscrapers, guys.
And to give you a better insight into the Tashkent of the future, we would like to show you Tashkent City Park, which has been one of the greatest projects in decades in the city. This is going to change the skyline of the city forever. And probably, who knows, this is going to compete even with Moscow City in Moscow. The development of 80 hectares of prime downtown land will spearhead the city's transformation, creating a mixed-use urban development driven by a business district and elite residential areas.
On our last day, I decided it was good to make the most of the affordable services here in Tashkent and go and do some cosmetic surgery.
So someone came to have a procedure in Uzbekistan.
So I decided to have basically a freeze. It's called cool sculpting. It's where they freeze the fat from your stomach or any part of your body. The session is only 45 minutes, and within a month you should see some sort of results.
What do you think about the clinic?
Extremely clean,
Modern.
friendly staff. You would not expect this, to be honest with you.
And the neighborhood is extremely like Boston looking style.
And the building is just so beautiful. Architecture that is like from Boston or the north.
The north of England, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is what your belly will look like at the end of the procedure.
To mark the end of this day, we decided to bring you to a wonderful place. And this is Magic City.
Magic City is a vast shopping centre in the shape of a European city. The perfect place to take your children and have a marvellous day out.
So guys, now it is review time. I have to say that this place is really nice if you have children and if you want to go just out, for a nice walk. However, it is not a theme park. It's basically just like somewhere where you can see like many buildings like resembling many important sites back in Europe. And yeah, you can have a nice time here, but it's just basically for children. Hello guys, so today we are bound for Samarkand, which is one of the cultural capitals of this lovely country. And today is Richard's birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you very much, and I'm going to enjoy my birthday in Samarkand.
Yeah.
An amazing city full of lovely architecture and hopefully nice restaurants.
If comfort is what you're looking for, it's very important that you book the high-speed train in advance, as tickets sell out rather quickly.
So, as you know, it's extremely hot. We decided to come to the buffet car so we could, have a bit of more of a feeling of a first-class experience. It's amazing here because we've got a table, we've got some nice chairs, we can order some drinks, and we're not in these cramped spaces. So probably we're going to be drinking throughout the whole train ride.
Uzbekistan probably has one of the most diverse landscapes in the world, with so many green fields like if you were just in Europe, and with all the sceneries that make me think about Mongolia. We soon arrived in Samarkand train station. And after 4 hours on that train and 4 hours of endless horrible heat, we are finally here in Samarkand. We are going to get a taxi to our lovely hotel where we are going to have full-time air conditioning. I'm really gonna wait to get out to have a lovely shower. Today is our first morning in Samarkand. Therefore, we are heading to the heart of this historical and ancient city. And look what a wonder of the world we are about to see.
So we're now in Registan Square, which means the place of the sand. Can't you see what an amazing square we are standing in right now? I'm going to tell you a little bit about the name of Samarkand. Did you know that Samarkand comes from the legend of two lovers, a boy and a girl? The girl was from a very wealthy family. She was actually a princess. Her name was Kant, which means sugar. And she fell in love with a poor boy called Samar. When the father realized that those two were in love with each other, he killed the poor boy Samar. Broken-hearted, the girl, Kant, couldn't live life anymore without her love, Samar. So she went to the castle roof and she threw herself off and killed herself. After the sadness and the story of these two children, together, the locals decided to name this city in their honor, Samarkand.
Registan Square is an ensemble of 3 majestic madrasas. The word madrasa means teaching and learning place. Around 100 people would live in each of them. At the time, it was a place where only the most educated and intelligent people would get to study here. You can see the cells from the courtyards. They would learn science, literature, astronomy, and etc. The construction of the first madrasa started in the 15th century, and it took 2 more centuries and 2 rulers to complete the third and last one. In our opinion, to say that there are only 7 wonders of the world is something rather silly to say. Since Rishley and I have seen many of them, we can verify that Registan Square got the same impression from us as when we saw the Taj Mahal in India. This is most definitely one of the most beautiful places we've ever seen in our lives.
After a lot of sightseeing, it's now time for us to enjoy a nice, delicious, mouth-watering Uzbek dish.
So guys, now we are going to have a lovely puff, but in a different version, because we normally have it like with the meat, like shredded. This time they decided to give us, like a whole piece of meat. So, good appetit. Even though plov is one of the most unhealthy meals in the world, you should definitely try it. You will love it.
Standing right behind me is the Bibi Hanim Mosque, which was built in the 15th century, a long time prior to the other madrasas which were in Registan Square during the Timurid Empire.
They say that the Bibi Hanim Mosque was one of the largest and most magnificent mosques in the Islamic world. It was considered a masterpiece of Timurid Renaissance. By the mid-20th century, only a grandiose ruin of it still survived. But the major parts of the mosque were restored during the Soviet period, which means that the Soviet time was not that bad after all. Thanks to them, we can still see this glorious and gigantic mosque. We finally got to the Shah-e-Zindan necropolis, which is a group of mausoleum on top of a hill. And this place is extremely historical, and guess what? There is a very interesting story about this thing. The name of Shah-e-Zindan is translated as living king, because there is a very important legend that says that the cousin of Prophet Muhammad came to preach Islam to this part of the world, and unfortunately he was killed due to his religion. The living king thing comes from the fact that they believe that when they killed this person, he didn't die, that he went to heaven. Therefore, they believe that this man, until this day, lived in heaven. There is another very important thing about this complex, and it is that at the beginning of the complex, there are 40 steps in order to get to the main place where we are right now. And they say that if you match the number of steps from the bottom to the top and from the top back to the bottom, it means that you can consider yourself to be a person free of sin. And if you don't match that number, then you are a sinner. So far, Richard and I, we got 40 on the way up. When we got down, we will tell you whether we are sinners or not.
Uzbekistan is full of unspoilt beauty. You should definitely consider coming to this amazing country right now while it is still quiet, peaceful, and largely undiscovered.
I counted 40 steps, which means that technically speaking I'm free of sin, although actually it's not really true. I don't consider myself perfect at all, but I do want to try and be a better person every day. So guys, standing behind me is the mausoleum of the Turco-Mongol Emperor Amir Timur. He was a very, very important and powerful man. And do you realize that this man, when he went on his travels all the way to China and India, brought the architectural style of Central Asia right to India, which heavily influenced one of the most important landmarks in my heart, which is the Taj Mahal.
Most of the time, people think that the only beautiful thing to see in Samarkand is the Registان Square, but of course they are wrong. Gur-e Amir is Persian for Tomb of the King. This is the final resting place of Amir Timur, the brilliant but ruthless conqueror who dominated Central Asia in the 14th century. Sadly, it's now time to say goodbye to Samarkand. Our next stop, Bukhara.
So here we are, right in front of the Samarkand train station. Come with us now on the next part of our voyage, which is to Bukhara, a very exotic and magical place.
Thanks to God, we are on the high-speed train Talgo, which is manufactured in Spain. And so we were kind of scared because we thought we were going to go like in those ones, like the first one that we took from Tashkent to Samarkand. But thanks to God, here we are. One of the things I really like in this world is to see through the window of a train. It makes me think that there is a whole world out there waiting to be discovered.
Welcome to Bukhara!
We have finally reached our last destination in Uzbekistan. Bukhara is an ancient city founded in the 6th century BC. It is said to be a holy city for Muslims, at the same level with Mecca and Jerusalem. We're really gonna wait to discover more about this ancient city with incredible beauty.
To say that even though this is such a beautiful place, it is extremely hot here. The last time we went through these sort of temperatures was in Agra in India. It was extremely humid and hot, and we're getting the same sensation right here now.
We are about to enter the Ark of Bukhara, which is a large medieval fortress built in the 5th century.
Right now we're in the throne hall, where the Bukhara rulers were crowned. In this place here, they also minted their own coins made of gold, silver, and copper. Now, for those of you who are interested in treasure and want to find it, you have to go all the way down to the treasury basement, which is a space of 30 by 30 square meters.
And for $1, you can sit at the marble throne like a real sultan. Even though this place has a stunning beauty and remarkable history, it is really hot, and can you believe that due to the high temperatures, my telephone stopped working for a few minutes. It is 7 a.m. in the morning. We decided to leave earlier, so we can do everything before it gets scorching hot.
Good morning everyone. So today is our first full day in Bukhara, and today we want to show you the Poi Kalan Islamic complex, which means at the foot of the Great One.
The complex is compounded by 3 important sites. I would like to start talking about them in order. Right behind me, you've got the Kalan Minaret, which was built in the year 1127 by the Quranic ruler Muhammad Aslan. Do you know that this thing was so beautiful initially that even Genghis Khan, when he came here to conquer this part of the world, he was so dumbfounded that he told his troops to destroy the whole entire city except for this lovely, magnificent minaret.
So standing right behind me now is the Miri Arab Madrasa, which was built in 1535. Miri Arab means the Prince of Arabs.
Now let's go inside the 15th century Kalan Mosque. This is another outstanding monument of Bukhara. According to data from archaeological excavations, the original Quranic mosque was destroyed by fire and dismantled, apparently at the time of the Mongol invasion. The current mosque has a total of 208 pillars and 288 domes.
Just had a lovely walk around the Kalan Mosque, although I have to tell you something. When we came in here, we were told that the entry fee was 5,000 som per person. And the man basically just started to talk with us and said, let me tell you about everything. And we thought that this was basically part of the entry fee. But then later he told us that we had to pay for the tour. I thought it was something voluntary, like a tip. But actually he then said, no, it's 100,000 som, which is about €8. So you have to be careful when you come to these places that you fix a price beforehand.
What you can see behind me is one of the most important sites in the whole entire Uzbekistan. This is the Sumit Mausoleum, built in the 10th century for one of the most important rulers of the Samit dynasty. I have to say that I am extremely impressed by its architecture and how well it is preserved until this time. This is also one of the most iconic examples of Central Asian architecture, not to mention that this is the oldest mausoleum in the whole entire region.
So we're about to enter the story MokkaMusic Palace, which is located in the north of the city, which used to be the beautiful summer residence of the Emir.
In the mid-19th century, Emir of Bukhara, Nasrullah Khan decided to build a new country seat for himself. To choose the coolest place not to suffer from the heat, the architects made recourse to a null method. Pieces of matting were put on the potential site of construction. The place where the meat got spoiled last was chosen for the construction of the suburban Pale of Bukhara. Several decades later, another Emir of Bukhara, Mir Said Muhammad al-Imham, initiated the construction of another palace. The Bukhara architects, having trained in Russia, managed to combine the Oriental and Western styles. After a while, the Emir's wife died, and her name was given to the palace. It was named Sitorai Mokhikhosa, which is Tajik for star like the moon. He used to compare the beauty of his wife with a star. One of the most important sites here in Bukhara is the Chomino gatehouse. This used to be the gate of a madrasa in the past. It was built in the 1800s by a very rich Turkmen, and unfortunately the rest of the madrasa is not standing today, but we can still see the gate. Chomino means four towers in Persian. When it was built, Bukhara was far from the glory days of the Shaivanid dynasty, and the general quality of the construction was quite low. Nevertheless, they managed to create a structure of lasting architectural interest that continues to delight visitors just like us.
You can access the tower by paying only 5,000 som, and you can go right up and see a view of the city. Let's go.
And we finally got to the roof of the Chomino Madrasa, and I have to say that it is really impressive how beautiful this place is. And by the way, from here you can see the Kalong minaret, which is right in the center of the town. It's really important to realize that Uzbekistan is one of the most historical and beautiful countries in the world.
Unfortunately, our time here is coming to an end. We are so pleased that we decided to come to Uzbekistan, not only because of its rich culture, history, traditions, and the friendly people, but also because of the atmosphere and all of the history surrounding it. We really would love to come back, and we really hope that you give this country a chance. So guys, we're finally back in Tashkent, in the capital of Uzbekistan, in our lovely hotel here, and we want to thank you for watching the video, and we really hope that you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up and write us a comment or any questions that you might have. And thanks again. Stay safe.